نه خب بزن داره عکس میگیره علیکی لبخند بزنی لبخند ملیحی بزن این کشی بهت میره
فیلمه قشنگ پهنگ کن
دست در
خدا نمیم داردواری هم بپس بریم تو احکامش
Thank you.
این یکی 700 شونه است شونه است 2800 مرداداش 1000 شونه است این یکی 1200 شونه نقشه برجسته 1000 شونه است این شونه نقشه برجسته 700 شونه است هر دوتاش 1000 شونه نه همشون رنگبندی ها دارن کرم، سرمه، آبی، فیبی 1200 شونه است یکی 700 شونه هر دوتاش 700 شونه است یکی 1200 شونه نقشه برجسته است این 1000 شونه است این یکی هم 1200 شونه نقشه ساعت است
That's a good idea.
Commit this to memory.
No, I didn't. You hear me down there? Yeah. Okay. About Zoroastrian and what is happening in this part. Let's stand here. Let's see better. Right. We know Zoroastrian as the first religion, okay, in the world that they started. Zoroaster, the prophet, started to talk about just one God, which was Ahura Mazda, and it was like a invisible god. So Ahura Mazda has a sign. When we are in Yazd, we will go to see some places relates to this religion that I will explain more and more details that you should know about this religion. One thing that is interesting to know about Zoroastrian is they respect fire, water, the earth and wind, 4 elements. They respect it, and that's why for dead bodies that they believe it's not clean, okay? So they had like sky burning. They were cleaning dead bodies on the top of the hills, and after vultures, they will eat the flesh. They could use it was different again in different parts of the territory, and but anyway, like different places. But mostly it was like a hole in mountains that they were making that in order to put the stones in it, okay, that we call it ostodan. The word for this in English, can't remember, but anyway, it's close to ostodan. The root is Farsi, Persian, because ostokhan in Farsi means bone, so it means a place for bone. Yeah, that's right. And here we have this little pool that we know that the time of Sasani, I'm talking about 1,600 years ago, here this city was on the way of Royal Road, so that's how they found some some evidence like this one, okay, that proves that the time of Sasani here was on the way of Royal Road. What we have here from that time, even from Persian Empire time, like 600 years before, over 2,000 years ago, there are 2 wells the other side of this mountain that they were using at the time of Achaemenians, the time of Persian Empire. And we know that the style of wells that they were making back in those days, over 2,000 years ago, it was the square shape, okay, not round ones. Making well like square, it's much harder. And some of them, like for example, there is one in Persepolis. It's like 140 meters. It's very deep. And here also there are 2. And also there were some remains of, near that shrine that we're going to visit, there were remains of an old, like a building, okay, like a monument of a building from the ancient time, the same time. And here we're sure that here was like a coffin, stone coffin. They were sometimes for people that they were from royal family, they were using stone coffins, okay, instead of those holes for bones, to put bones in it. They could put that body inside a stone coffin, and then the stone lid was on the top. We're sure that this was the same story, and we don't know why here. Maybe they were living around this area and she died here. We know that she was not really adult, okay, and that was a she from where? Here there's a inscription in old actually Persian script. This is not cuneiform, okay, this is a script after cuneiform. When you come here you will see the time of Sasani, 1,600 years ago. They were Sassanids, they were at the same time with Romans, okay, and so they were using this type of script for their writing. It explains to us that here was a girl from a royal family, that her body was, here in a stone coffin. And even here we have steps that was like.
What is the baby's body or the bones are?
Here are very famous for stone mines. All the mines were like marble, green and white marble, granite, like different types of stones that we have here, and they cut them from these mountains. They even export, especially to Arab countries.
Zoroastrian
Yes. And not just like their tombs, but when we probably notice while we're driving and enter a city or like a town, village, something like that, you can see the photos, especially in the middle of boulevards or like the side of streets. Okay, and those are also martyrs. It shows martyrs that they were from that region. And about Iran-Iraq war, while we're driving again like toward Tehran, and we're gonna pass Ayatollah Khomeini's shrine and all these things, I will explain everything, okay, about that war. And yeah, back to the story of shrine over there. Please. Okay. So yeah, this is actually so our after Muhammad the Prophet, all our imams, okay, like for especially for Shiites that we believe in like 12 imams, okay, Ali, Hassan, Hussein, and then the rest like from the same family. Older, let's say children, grandchildren, that they were of course like in different parts and areas. For those ones that they were living or like just kind of passing, some of them they have different stories in Iran, okay. If they died in these areas, they bury their bodies also around like wherever they were living. So that's why we have shrines in different places. Shrine always has a tomb of a holy person from that family. A mosque just a place for praying. Shrine, sometimes they use it for praying too, but also to come and say hello to, like, the person whose body is in there. This is the grandson of our 7th Imam, okay? So you gentlemen can get closer this side to see the tomb inside in the middle. And as you see on the top, and we will go on the other side, okay? That's for women, that side, and here is for men. And so as you see, you can see silver and gold, okay, for decoration, this place. And silver is a kind of antibacterial, yeah. So because people touch this part a lot, sometimes they kiss it. So it's beside decoration, it's also a good idea to use silver. Okay. So please, when I get closer, look at inside, you can see